to another episode of The Standby Line. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Jill.
And you know what? We just thought because it's about to start a new season, what's the number?
47.
47, girl. So now that we're about to start season 47, we would come back with a couple updated tips and tricks, things you need to know.
Basically, if you're going to do Standby Line this season, if there is one, this is what, we have to say disclaimer. If there is one, we can't confirm
we don't
or
know.
deny.
Yeah.
Yes. So we, if it decides to come back, then this is what you're going to need to know.
Right.
Also, disclaimer, it could be changed from the norm. Like, again, we cannot confirm or deny anything at this time, but what we can say is there is a chance that because of COVID and stuff, the line will be different than the norm, and that could mean a lot of new rules. When that happens, we will obviously, after the first episode, if there is one, we will dive more into that. But this is kind of a updated tips and tricks from our episode 1, where we're just kind of giving you the basics of Standby Line.
Yeah, like the fundamental stuff, like everything you need to know.
Don't ask us where to line up or what the rules are, the times or this and that.
You know what? It's not on the website. I can't tell you.
Right. If they're handing out cards, if they're checking you in, all this and that.
The finale
That's not what we're covering.
The finale was whack. It was very different. We don't know.
We're covering what you need to know as of since the last time we did a tips and tricks episode was in 2019. So
season 45.
Yeah, 2 years later, some things have happened in between there, obviously. So this is just kind of an updated basics.
Yep, absolutely. And we don't really have any news to cover right now because we just weren't prepared.
Did you say Chloe was on Ellen?
I saw Chloe post
Hey, you know what? We do
Ellen.
have news. Speaking of Ellen, the director who is an Emmy winner for her work on being the director of the Ellen Show for many, many years is now, congratulations, the new director of SNL. Very sad. Don Roy King will be leaving in January, right?
Yeah.
That's what he said to us.
That's what he told us.
January. And Liz Patrick.
Standby Line exclusive.
I know. Liz Patrick will be replacing Don Roy King as the SNL director for the second half of the season. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, I'm stoked to have a female director.
Not that Don wasn't good, but
obviously he's incredible.
So
obviously he's incredible.
But we are excited for Liz.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, I think Chloe was on Ellen.
Oh, also the news that all the hosts were released and musical guests, the lineup, but everyone saw that. We don't need to report that.
Right.
If you guys didn't see that, you live under a rock.
Jill, who are you most excited?
If we are your only news source of SNL, you get some other news sources.
It's like people who take Weekend Update news as their news source, find another news source.
Well, let's see if we can do it based off memory. So October 2nd is Owen Wilson and Casey Musgraves.
Bet.
October 9th is Kim
Kardashian
K and
Halsey.
Okay. October 16th is Rami Malek and Young Thug.
Yep.
Good memory I have.
And Jason Sudeikis
is October 23rd, and musical guests.
Oh,
we were doing good. Oh, Brandi Carlile.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Obviously. Yeah. Brandi is who I'm most excited for. I mean, okay, guys, it's no secret. I wanted Cecily Strong to win the Emmy. Okay, guys?
Right.
So I'm a little upset with Ted Lasso personally.
We don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about Ted Lasso. I have nothing against Jason Sudeikis, but I am upset because my girl needed to win that Emmy.
I mean, good news is that fingers crossed, Miss Strong will be back, so she couldn't host anyway.
It doesn't matter about her hosting. I wanted her to win the Emmy, which to my point makes me... My point was that I'm not very thrilled with Ted Lasso at the moment. I know it's not their fault, but I'm mad. So...
Emmy night, we were like, we will never watch that.
I literally was so upset. I was like, I'm never watching Ted Lasso. I hate that show. I was like, I'm never, ever going to watch it now.
Just us lying to ourselves.
I don't know if I ever will. It's going to take me some time to... It is a very open, deep wound. It is going to take a lot of time for it to heal and me to be able to watch Ted Lasso. And you guys can call me crazy and whatever you want, but that's just what it is.
Yeah, I don't care.
You guys know this. Never mind. We're not even going to get into it. But what I was going to say, I'm rambling. Anyways, Jason is an alum, and I'm excited to see Jason. But we have seen him do Biden a couple times, so the magic is kind of not totally there. But I'm still excited to see him. I'm very excited to see Owen, actually. I like Owen Wilson.
That's who I'm most excited to see.
I was going to ask you. Owen and Brandi Carlile, I think, are my answers.
It's Owen for me because I've grown up with him.
Kim K?
Stop. Stop. I'll call the police.
Why did my coworker beg me to take her to the Kim K episode? I said, why?
Are you joking?
No, she is like actually serious.
That hurts my feelings.
I'm going to take her, but...
You're going to take her?
Yeah, she wants to do it.
She's coming?
Yes, for real.
Okay, bet.
You're just getting this standby line exclusive.
Jill's friend from work will be coming to standby line for Kim Kardashian.
She was like, Kim K, my godmother is hosting. And I was like, girl.
Her godmother?
That's what she said. I was like, girl. Anyway,
we don't have any news. Just us talking shit, I guess.
Yeah, okay. So let's jump into what we have for updated tips and tricks. We got a lot of information that's coming at you guys, so...
Yeah, sit tight, get a pencil.
And it's all over the place because what we did was we literally went back. I think we have 3 different episodes about standby. We have an episode about line etiquette, a premiere prep episode, and then a tips and tricks episode. So we took all the notes from that and put it into one big thing. It's not totally organized. We also have an episode about rain and snow, which we might talk about later in the year, but not right now. If there is rain predicted for any of these upcoming shows, I do suggest it. I think it's called like How to Survive Standby Line in the Rain or something, or Surviving Standby Line in the Rain.
Yeah, something like that.
It's down there. It's down there in the list. I think it's from season 1.
Keyword search rain.
Yeah, so listen to that episode because it's going to teach you how to survive in the rain.
Exactly. I mean, I think the first thing I want to talk about is... Don't even show up. Don't even come if you're not 16 or older, if you have no photo ID, or if you're not vaccinated. I can't confirm that they're going to require vaccination cards, but I would give it a solid 99.9%.
I don't know what the other shows are. I'm pretty sure the other NBC shows do require vaccine cards. I don't know what...
We went to Jimmy Fallon in the
but
summer.
I meant as of like now, update a few months later. But I don't know if Broadway's doing vaccine cards as well.
I don't know, but a lot of like events like Met Gala and like Emmys and stuff required vaccinations. I guess, and I can't believe they would put their talent to like in danger without vaccination cards.
Right. What I'm wondering is because like SNL typically follows what Broadway does, so I'm wondering if Broadway... We should ask our friend Jordan. Jordan, please, can we call you up right now? Should we just call her and put her on the episode right now?
Bro,
no, she wouldn't like that.
I forgot that we have the news of Jordan's analysis of Emmy outfits.
But it really wasn't. It was just her talking about Amy Poehler.
We'll put I'm going to text her right now.
Jordan, did they require a vaccine card for Broadway?
Question mark.
So either way, I would also put my money that it's a 95% chance that SNL is going to require vaccine cards, especially if they're taking people just randomly off the street. Actually, randos. You know what? I would put it almost at a 99.99 because on the ticketing website to apply for the lottery, you had to have a vaccine. You had to be vaccinated. So Jordan said yes. So, okay, let's go ahead and assume if you're not vaccinated, don't bother showing up. We're not shaming you. We're just saying those are the rules.
Yeah,
We're not getting political and shaming you or anything. We're just saying those are like the facts. Like
period.
Right. So, also...
Yeah. What's your next rule?
I was going to say, kind of with the, like, don't bother showing up thing, I would put under that, don't bother showing up if you're not planning on staying in line the whole time from start to finish. And by that, I don't mean... leaving to go to the bathroom and getting something to eat and taking breaks. By that, I mean, don't plan on showing up to the line if you're going to leave for 5 hours or 6 hours to go to school, or if you're going to leave overnight to go home and sleep. That's not how the line works.
To like go to a Broadway show, speaking of Broadway, like you can't leave for like 2.5, 3 hours. That's not a thing.
I would say literally the max is 2 hours. I would say the max we've ever been gone is like 2 hours.
I don't even think we've been gone that long because Arlene clocked us once when we went and ate dinner in a restaurant and we were gone for roughly an hour and Arlene stopped us and she was like, hey, you were gone.
If you notice somebody's gone for 2 hours, I don't think that's going to be a huge deal. Like, I think I sat in Starbucks for 2 hours once when I had to do homework. That's still... I don't know. I would say 2 hours is not a huge deal, but I would say anything over that, then that's starting to push it. Like... I don't know. I guess it sounds crazy to some people like, oh, I was only gone 3 hours. I was only gone 4 hours. But that's still like a lot of time you're not in line.
Well, yeah. How many people are going to join line behind you in those 4 hours? That's not fair to them.
Right. Exactly. And it's just like if you have school all day or half a day, don't come to the line. And
right.
I guess that kind of leads into like, let's go into like the topic of line sitters and your friends joining you in line.
Yeah, not allowed.
Well, do you want to, I mean, about the lines, here's again about the COVID thing about season 47, line sitters, on the NBC website, it used to say
that they're
no
not allowed.
line sitters aren't allowed, but we, Amanda and I know, speaking honestly, that people have used line sitters before and they've gotten in. That being said, people have also used line sitters, have been reported, and have been kicked out.
We've literally saw a couple who had already been seated in the studio who were like clocked and like I guess somebody reported them and they were asked to leave after they had already gotten in the studio.
I've seen them kicked out in the morning.
Yeah.
I've also seen people use line sitters and get in. So it's really your risk. If you want to use the line sitter, use it, but that doesn't mean you're going to not get kicked out or get reported.
Exactly.
And like, we're not saying we're here we're gonna police everybody, but I'm just saying for you, there are other people in line who do police and who do report stuff and whatever. So it is a risk. I'm not saying, you're not allowed to do it, because you're allowed to do it, but it's a risk, and it's a risk that you're gonna take. So
yeah, NBC says you're not allowed to do it. That's not us. That's NBC.
And yeah, so I thought I had another thing about line sitters, but also, line sitters in terms of what could be the new season 47 COVID line.
Yeah.
For the finale, when we went, as soon as you showed up, you had to check in. They wrote your name. Yeah, they wrote your name down on a piece of paper and they looked at your vaccine card. Now, in the morning, I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember, or I'm not 100% sure, like, if they're going to be walking up and down that line in the morning to check and they're matching names on their list.
I'm pretty sure they did for the finale.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, the finale line was only 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We don't know if that's going to be normal, but that's what they did for the finale, is they got your name, showed your vaccine card, and then they rechecked their list in the morning.
And it could be a variation of that. They could not do the list in the morning. They could not put your name down on a list at all. But again, line sitters might not even be a possibility this season because of that. Because when your line sitter checks in with his or her name and then you come in the morning and it's a different person and they didn't check your vaccine card, they're going to be like, who are you?
Right.
So it's all a risk. If you want to risk it, go ahead. But we're not advised. I always tell people, if you want to, I'm not going to say no. If you want to risk it, go ahead. But what I'm advising you is don't use a line sitter.
I advise that as well. And I think that kind of leads in to like when you should arrive at line.
Well, yeah, I wanted to also talk about like your friends joining you and stuff. Which one do you think should go first?
I forgot that too. I want to say, let's do starting with like when you arrive. Don't arrive too early. It's wacky. Like, there's no reason to have to join lines super early.
We've learned this too, and I mean, there are some lines that we do join earlier because there is going to be a crowd, but typically, like, the line doesn't need to start or grow or won't start growing until Friday. So like when people start it, and I will say we have been guilty of this and we've learned our lesson from it.
We did.
You don't need to show up randomly on a Wednesday night or Thursday morning for absolutely no reason except that you want to be there. All that does is cause chaos, and it causes more people to come out, and it lessens chances for others. So use your best judgment. Harry Styles is very different than or like going to see Seth Meyers. Like, you don't need to line up for. All of these are very
different from Owen Wilson.
You don't need to line up for Owen Wilson on a Wednesday night. Harry Styles, that's a different story because obviously his fans. We say that the three things that affect line the most are the host, the musical guests, and the weather. Yeah. So but there's no set time.
What we're trying to say
there might be this season.
On season 45, I think
full disclosure.
One of the one of the biggest lines we went to was the Adam Driver line, and we arrived on Friday evening and we still got in. So So
yeah, it is what it is. Just because, and also if you do hear of or get wind of people lining up Wednesday night or Thursday morning or whatever, don't get panicked, because what I always tell people, that even if somebody does that and let's say 10 or 20 people get behind them, the majority, 80% of the line does not actually start growing until Friday, and typically I would say typically until Friday afternoonish evening. That's normally when the majority of the line starts growing.
It's true.
So just because you see someone or 10 people lining up on Thursday, don't be like, oh my God, I'm not going to get in if I don't get in line right now.
True.
Because by the time you get there on Friday, there will probably only have 10 more people have joined. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not like so many people cannot come to line, like, and because people are grown-ups and they have lives and they can't like just show up.
Right.
So, friends in line.
Yeah. I see it happen too often. It's a sticky situation because sometimes people trade off people, which, you know, they're like, oh, well, my friend was sitting here for me for 6 hours. And that's kind of similar to a line sitter. And there are people who think that it doesn't matter because it's a number is a number and it's one person trading off for another. But you have to think about it like you wouldn't do that. I don't know. What's a good example? You wouldn't do that in the grocery store. Like, you don't just cut in front of somebody and, like, they've been waiting forever. Think of it about those people on the highway who everybody's waiting in the merge lane, and then you always have that one jerk who rides
all the way to the
front and cuts in front of everybody, and you're like, what the heck? Like, why couldn't you just merge when everyone else merged?
Yeah, I like to say we learned how to do lines in kindergarten. These are the same rules.
Right. Like, so, yeah, I can't say it's, like, gonna for sure get you kicked out, but I really don't advise, and it's really not good etiquette to like have somebody sit for you for 6 hours, 7 hours, for even a whole day.
I mean, Jill has seen people be removed before they were able to get in the studio because like 3 of a group of 6
well, that's a whole different thing. If you're sitting in line and you're having your friend join you 4, 5, 8 hours or a day later, and then that's an extra number, that's a totally different thing. That is a no-no, because that is cutting, and the website did say no line cutters.
Well, and the thing is like also like if you do that, then someone who has been in line for those 8 hours that you didn't come, they might get kicked out of the show or not make it in, and that's your fault, and you want that to be on you.
And a lot of people don't care, but it's just like, I don't know, really think about it. Like, let's say you and your friend are lining up and you get there and your friend can't join you till that night and you got there that morning. And now there's 2 of you. Let's say one person at the end of the line who had been there the whole time doesn't get in, and you got in when you joined only 5 hours before. I don't know. I don't think we need to keep going on a tangent about it. But
like morality.
Yeah, honestly. We don't need to keep going on a tangent about it. Please just don't cut the line.
Yeah, do the right thing, bro.
You're also most likely going to be reported. The line has eyes everywhere, and people get mad. People get mad when you cut them.
And there's literally security cameras, so...
People get mad when you cut them, so...
Yeah, it's not fun.
Again, do at your own risk. So, I mean, what else do you want to go into? Like,
how about where to pee, man? Like, where are you going to go to the bathroom? I think that's such a big deal for the standby
because
line.
We did say, last time we did tips and tricks, we said, like, the deli's next door, which is not really an option anymore. I don't even think they let you use their bathroom. First of all, I think they have it closed off now only for certain hours, and you definitely have to buy something. And I don't even know now how open they are about their bathroom policy.
Yeah, I don't know either. I haven't been in there in a long time.
If you do go in there, you do have to buy something, and it's only going to be during the daytime. It is a 24-hour Deli's, but the bathroom is no longer 24 hours.
Last we knew, they closed at midnight.
Okay, so
NBC's hours were
11 p.m., I believe.
6 to 11, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Bathroom
Again,
downstairs.
this could all be changed for COVID, but the normal hours were till 11 p.m. There is a 24-hour McDonald's on where?
6th Ave.
6th Ave. You can use the bathroom there. Sometimes they make you buy something. Sometimes they just let you use it. But
I mean, I wouldn't advise from the hours to 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Like, we have a friend in line who drinks like a tiny 8-ounce bottle of water so they don't have to go to the bathroom.
But I mean, I guess if you do and it's 3 a.m., kind of your only option is McDonald's.
McDonald's, literally. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. I guess I would also say something really important to keep in mind is seasonally appropriate, like, supplies and clothes.
Obviously, if you're doing the October shows, you're not going to need parkas and thermal sleeping bags and all that stuff. It actually gets kind of hot. I wouldn't say hot, but it's comfortable enough that, like, some nights you still want to put your AC on and, like, there's no AC in line. sometimes in the daytime the sun is still shining, and you know, it might not be 80 degrees. It might only be 7 degrees. But when that sun is on you and you're sitting in it, sometimes you can get burnt. Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, bring sunscreen if you need it. I think the beginning lines, like, you probably just kind of need, like, a sleeping bag and a sweatshirt or something. I mean, it depends.
I have a note in here that says, don't forget that warm days don't necessarily mean warm nights, which is true. So just look at the weather. We know how to read the weather.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that for the early shows you need to worry about being freezing at night. You're not going to be freezing. You might get chilly, but you're not going to be freezing at night.
Yeah, I think just, you know, be smart. And it's kind of like if you think you're not going to need a sweater, maybe bring one just in case, honestly. But, like, it also counts for, like, bringing an umbrella just in case it might rain, that kind of thing. Because if you get wet, then you're not going to get warm, probably. That sort of thing. There is a camping store. It's called Modell's. And I think the dollar store as well. They're nearby, unless they've closed. I mean, standby hasn't been a thing for a while. But, you know, there are options where you can buy stuff, but it's probably better to just bring it.
Yeah, I don't know where standby line is going to start lining up. If they don't have a set, like, schedule, and, like, for the finale, for example, they said, you know, the line is set at this time, come line up on 49th. If it goes back to normal times when you kind of the line starts when whoever lines up, then it'll most likely be on 48th. It could also be on 6th Ave, so who knows?
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of something like tying into all of that in terms of like staying out is I don't know if rules will be relaxed if you have to stay overnight, but typically you're not allowed to bring a tent. That's pretty frowned upon. So I think that's something to keep in mind. I mean, sometimes they let you prop things on the barricades, sometimes they don't. I would recommend coming to line, just like assuming you're going to be standalone. You know what I mean?
And they do often move the line. Like, they make you, again, it might be different because of COVID times. Before the line started moving over to 49th on Friday nights in season 45, it was on 48th the whole time. And that's when Rockefeller Security, NBC Security is different than Rockefeller Security, which is also different than SNL Security.
Yeah, it's all very different.
So it used to be that it was always Rockefeller Security and they could pretty much do whatever they wanted and they moved the line up all the time. Sometimes they didn't. When it moved over to 49th, then NBC Security kind of took over. So it really depends on where the line's going to be. And the security guards trade off every so often, every so few hours. And what could be okay with one security guard, the other might yell at you for. Like if one tells you can tie a string to the barricade, the other might come out and be like, you got to take this down.
Yeah, it really just depends on who's like on shift. I also wanted to mention, like, in terms of being in line, like, your faves are not going to come visit you in line. That's a thing that I think has gained, like, attention in terms of, like, Taylor Swift having come out to line once. But as a general rule, your favorites in the cast are not going to come out to meet you, and, like, the host or musical guest are not going to come out to meet you.
I feel like that happens once in a blue moon.
Very rare.
I have alone done 43 shows. I think some of them I did doubles, so, like, maybe I would say 40, 38, whatever, actual standby lines. Never. Not one of those times did a host or musical guest come out.
Exactly. And speaking of, the host or the musical guest are not going to come out to barricades after the show. They're not allowed. The security takes them into the garage. Like, that's not going to happen. Please don't expect to meet your fave, like, in line or at barricades.
Yeah, I mean, you can think we're lying to you, but whatever. Do what you want. So it's just not going to happen.
So many times, and it just doesn't happen.
Also, I think, like, how many times have we done barricades? I can't even keep track of that. But I think one time Tame Impala came out and walked out because nobody knew who they were at the time.
Well, and we didn't even see them at barricades. We just happened to run into him, like, at a different corner.
So you might hear a crazy story and being like, oh, yeah, so-and-so came out at barricades, but that was probably a one in every, like, 100 show or some type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, my last suggestion in terms of, like, tips and tricks is about ticketing. Do you have anything else about line?
Yeah, let me look at my notes. Like etiquette wise, sleeping and like overnight stuff.
Oh yeah,
there are people.
We're old and grumpy.
Yeah, we're old and grumpy, and there's lots of old and grumpy people in the line. That means like, okay, practice basic etiquette and manners, which I know we're outside and we're in public, but there are
but it's
people.
Not a dance party,
right? There are people who do sleep in the line, and it's just kind of gets kind of like a quiet vibe to it at night, believe it or not. But there are people who are resting, or there are people who just don't want to hear you blasting your music or yelling or screaming. Don't smoke in line around people. So
just be courteous.
Be courteous of your line neighbors and make friends with your line neighbors, because, you know, that way you can help keep track of each other, watch each other's stuff, just, you know, generally know what's going on around you. Let me keep looking at my list.
I mean, yeah. We've been there when a lot of crazy stuff has happened, but, like, honestly, you probably want to rest up because...
As far as the premiere, again, before COVID, we keep having to say this as a disclaimer, but generally the rule is that more people get in for the premiere show.
Yeah,
so
I forgot that part.
You know, don't be like, I have to be the first in line. If I'm not the first 10, I'm not going to get in.
Stress, literally.
But... you know, everything could be different, so...
yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes.
It says, generally, just be chill.
What a mood.
This also says, listen to the vets when they tell you things because they know what they're talking about.
It's true, we do.
A lot of people think the vets are vets. That's such a silly word. Like, regulars are lying to them, but...
vets, I mean, I don't think of us.
Right, no, I would think of people like Chris and Arlene.
Exactly.
We're like a rung under the vets.
Yeah, we are
this
not
says,
vets.
Make sure you give people personal space, but don't leave too much space between people because then they'll walk through the line. It leaves space for line cutters. People get confused. So, again, that could be changed for COVID. I believe they had a space 6 feet apart in groups and
we
like
had
pods.
Yeah.
But who knows what that's going to be. It says, I have a note that says what to do with your trash.
Throw it away.
Well, yes, throw it away. Don't leave it on the street, please. That's disgusting. But people do come by periodically to pick up the trash during the line, and they do pick up the trash in the morning after standby line.
Do.
So if you absolutely have stuff that you don't have a place to throw out, just put it in a little like neat organized pile in the line where you were, and they come through it. They come through and clean it up. But that, like, don't be gross. Don't throw your trash in the street and stuff.
Be a responsible grown-up, perhaps. That would be good.
All right, so that's all I have about line, I guess. I'm sure there's 100 other things, but I feel like those are the general basics.
Yeah, the basics, for sure. And so I guess it comes to, like, ticketing and things like that. As far as we know, you stay in line, and then they come down with your standby. We call them tickets, but they're really just cards.
They're not tickets, because I guess tickets gets you into something. These
are
not
cards.
guaranteed.
Exactly.
If you get a card, you are not guaranteed.
Exactly. So don't expect to definitely get in. But when they come down and you're choosing your ticket card, you get to decide between the live show that airs that everybody watches, or the dress rehearsal. So you need to be sure to, or like be ready to make that decision.
Because if you're standing there and waffling back and forth forever, the pages who are doing it don't have time to stand there and wait and give you 5 or 10 minutes to think about your decision.
Yeah.
Please have your decision ready. Sometimes they tell you how many people are in line already, and sometimes they don't.
That you want, and
like if you say how many people are for live, sometimes they tell you and sometimes they don't. So it's good to just be prepared for that. On that note, I do want to say, if you are number 100 in line, that does not mean you are number 100 into the show.
It's true.
Very typically, it splits evenly. I don't want to say it's always splits evenly, because sometimes, it's a I am not good at math, guys. I'm exposing myself. Sometimes it's a 60-40. Sometimes it's an 80-20. Sometimes it's a 70-30. Sometimes it's a...
Well, here's what I know.
Yeah.
And what I have experienced is that typically when you're first starting the line, it will weigh one way or the other. But the further it goes down the line, the more it evens out, because people want to go to the show that has the fewer amount of people. So by the time you get to, ticket number 75, 100, it's pretty clear that the line is evening
out. You could be 70th in line and be 30 for the dress rehearsal.
Right, exactly.
You don't know. You could be 13th in line and be the first person for live. The 12 people in front of you could have chose dress rehearsal. Please don't base your number on getting into the show at your number in line. If you see people going through and you count, or you count yourself and you're like, oh, I'm number 70, that's not actually a bad place to be, because you're going to
That's a really good place to be in standby line.
You're going to end up evening out to be in the 40s or the 30s typically for one of the shows, which is a great ticket to have.
Which is like, just to reiterate, you don't have to be first in line to get into the show. That's not how SNL works.
You don't have to be 10th in line to get into the show.
Exactly. You don't have to be in the top 50 to get into the show necessarily.
Well, in normal times, again, like we're saying, we don't know. COVID might take less people, but we don't want to say that for sure because we don't know. We're going based off what we know right now.
Previously.
But what we know is that whatever number you are in line is not what number you are going to be to get into the show. You are going to be a... whatever way you're looking at this, higher up, lower number than you are in line.
Well, and what we also know is that some people have been first in line and have not gotten in.
There's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee. That's why it's called standby.
Some people have been first and not gotten in, and some people have been 130th and gotten in. So it's just...
We literally talked to someone who was like 120 or something for a crazy show like Harry Styles, and they got in. So...
There's just no...
Yeah. And then just to like... bounce off of that, in terms of your tickets, like when you come back to the show, don't bring a large bag.
Don't lose your ticket, please.
Yeah, don't lose your ticket. Don't bring a large bag. Don't bring a backpack. You will not be able to take it into the show, and they do not hold it for you.
It says on the ticket, no large bags or backpacks.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind.
Everything does go through security, so don't bring any weapons. Don't bring anything you shouldn't have. Don't bring alcohol. Don't bring any of that because it goes through security.
We have literally seen someone be kicked out for having alcohol in a water bottle. Don't be that person. It's embarrassing.
I'm just looking at what else we have in terms of the tickets. Don't lose your tickets. Bring your IDs. Bring your vaccination cards.
All of that.
The thing we said about being 16, it's not one of those things where like you can be 16 but with an adult. It is 16 period. It doesn't matter if you're 13 and you're with your parent. You cannot get in.
Yeah.
It is age 16 no matter who you're with.
Exactly. I don't know. I got nothing else. I feel like we ran through that like a marathon.
Because it's a lot.
It is a lot.
And we're probably going to have to record a whole nother episode based on...
Yeah, I was going to say, we're probably going to have, like, properly updated info after the season starts. But right now, we're just going based on other seasons.
We wanted to make a new thing with our, that was back in 2019. We were noobs. We didn't know what we were doing. Now we have our nice equipment, our nice sound effects. We have our all kinds of stuff. So we just wanted to make an update episode.
Honestly, we just wanted to say hi.
I don't know what else.
I got nothing.
So I think the best thing you can do right now at this point is to keep an eye on SNL's social media, keep an eye on our social media, and keep an eye on the NBC ticketing site, because all those things are going to have updates about the standby line.
Yeah, like official info.
And as long as there's a line, your girls are going to be at the standby line doing our updates, keeping y'all on track. So
yeah, follow us on all of our social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Standby Line. You can find us on the web at snlstandbyline.com. You can find us in email at snlstandbyline@gmail.com.
Leave us a review.
Leave us a review. It helps us a lot. It kicks our podcast up so that everyone can find us. And we like to read some of them sometimes.
Yeah, and when this is released, we are going to be also we have, maybe we haven't yet. Either we have yet or we're going to, but today, when this is released, we're doing it. We have a new giveaway, so
yeah,
check that out on our social media. We're not going to tell you what it is. You have to go to our social media to check it out.
And then maybe this time next week, we will have some insider info from dress rehearsal. We might have some fancy finally, after all summer that we've been teasing you guys, next episode, we finally get to share with you our big news and all the cool stuff, and we might have a very cool special guest with us. I'm scared.
I want our producer to put in like a little like scared spooky noise here.
I want to call our next episode I'm Scared.
I'm scared.
No, anyway, I think that's all we've got for this week. We will talk to you next week.
Tune into SNL next Saturday.
Oh my gosh, season premiere. Let's go.
It's actually Saturday right now, so that's literally a week from right now.
Recording time, yeah. We by the time you hear this, it's less than a week until the season starts. Which is
fine. Dress rehearsal will be happening right now at this very moment.
Yeah, literally casual.
Okay, that's all I have.
Yeah, that's all I have too. We'll talk to you next week. We can't wait to get the season started. I'm Amanda.
I'm Jill.
And we're the Standby Line.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been a Gradients production.